On June 17th, 2019, in the early morning hours, beautiful 23-year-old University of Utah student Mackenzie Lueck arrived at the Salt Lake City International Airport after visiting her family and attending her grandmother's funeral in California. Airport cameras captured Mackenzie after she got off of the plane and then picking up her luggage from baggage claim. She had been in communication with her family back in California until 1:01 a.m. when she texted her mom to let her know she had landed safely in Salt Lake City. Days passed with friends and family unable to get in touch with Mackenzie, and they became very concerned. She had missed work, her college classes, and even a midterm exam, which was not at all like Mackenzie. They knew something was not right and were extremely worried about her. On June 20th, Mackenzie's father, Greg Lueck, called the Salt Lake City Police Department to inform them that no one had heard from her since she arrived back in Utah. We're going to play that 911 call, and please be aware that the silent spots in the audio are where information has been silenced for privacy.
Yeah, I'd like to get, if possible, have a wellness check done on my daughter. She flew in from California Sunday night. She got in about 1, and it was the last time I've heard from her, and I've been trying to get a hold of her all week. And her phone just tends to go to voicemail. I was just wondering if I could have somebody maybe go by her house and check on her.
Okay, what is the address?
Let me get that for you. 1 second. Sorry.
You're fine. And is that a house or an apartment?
It should be. It's kind of like a house, but she's on the bottom floor, so it would be, her door is on 600, and it's kind of like a driveway right there on the corner. She's right on the corner.
Is there a unit number?
There's a door. There isn't a unit number. It's the first door on the 600 side. There's an entry door down there. So there's 3 rooms in there, and she rents one of the rooms.
Okay. And what is the phone number you're calling from? And your name?
My name is Greg Lueck.
Can you spell the last name for me?
Lueck.
Okay. And what is your daughter's name?
Mackenzie.
Spell that.
She has a roommate. She has 2 roommates. One gentleman's name is Mackenzie.
And her last name?
Lueck. Lueck.
And when did you say you heard from her last?
Last time we heard from her, she got off the plane coming back from L.A. It was 1 a.m. She was going to grab an Uber and go home, but that's the last I've heard from her.
So 1 a.m. this morning?
No, 1 a.m. Monday morning. So we've been trying to get a hold of her all week, and she hasn't. Usually it's unlike her to return a call, not return her calls, but it goes straight to voicemail, so I don't know if she's lost her phone, she's unable to communicate, but she should have a laptop or something, so just a little concerned, that's all.
Okay. As far as anything with her situation goes, has there been any mention of any weapons being involved?
No.
Okay.
No, not that. Yeah, no, she doesn't have any weapons at her house.
Okay, let me
currently,
get her
so
description. What race is she?
She is white.
Okay, and how old is she?
She's 23. She has blonde hair, brown eyes. She's probably about 122 pounds, somewhere right around there.
Okay, and her
She's
hair
probably
is blonde?
about 5. Yeah, blonde hair. Yeah.
Long or short?
Longer. At least shoulder length or past.
Okay, and anything else that would help her stand out? Tattoos, piercings, anything like that?
She has a tattoo on her back. It's a star. And she drives an Equinox. I think it's a gray Equinox. So I don't know if her car is there or not in the driveway. It should be there or not. I don't know. But she does drive an Equinox. I wish I had the plates. I don't have the plates on it, though.
Okay. What is her date of birth?
Her date of birth is... And she is a Utah resident.
Does she have any physical, medical, or mental conditions that we need to be aware of?
No.
Okay.
No.
And does anyone have a key?
I don't know. The landlord may. I don't know of anybody that would be there besides her roommates that would have a key. You know what? I take that back. She said she dropped one behind the mailbox, but she could never get it out. So there may be one back there. Somebody can fish it out, but I don't know if she ever got it out or not. She mentioned it to me last time I was up there in April.
Okay, and you mentioned her two roommates. Tell me their names again.
Her...
Okay.
And I know she's been taking at least summer classes at the University of Utah up there, too. That's where she's going to school as well. But like I said, it's unusual not to hear for so many days.
Right. Okay. All right. I've got this in. We will get officers out as soon as possible. And then what I'll do is I'll have them give you a call. And what color is her Equinox?
I want to say it's like a grayish, silvery, greenish kind of color. Yeah, it's a Chevy Equinox. I think it's a 2007 Chevy Equinox.
And is it registered
I don't know the plate numbers. Yes, it's in her name. That's correct.
I'll look up and see if I can find the plate number with her name then. So
okay.
I've got this in. Just give us a call back if anything changes, if you get any updates or do happen to hear from her.
I will.
And we'll get them out there as soon as we can, and then I'll have them give you a call, okay?
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Investigators recovered airport surveillance video that captured Mackenzie getting into a Lyft to leave the airport. According to the Lyft driver, he dropped her off at Hatch Park, which is located at 50 West Center Street in North Salt Lake, just off of Interstate 15. For days, police did not believe that Mackenzie was in danger, but her friends and family were increasingly worried. Finally, on June 22nd, 5 days after she was last seen, Mackenzie was officially considered a missing person. Her family began pleading to the public for any information about her whereabouts. A Find Mackenzie Lueck Facebook page was established, and her friends and family were emotionally passing out missing person flyers that included a photo of Mackenzie along with her physical description. Mackenzie's best friend, Kennedy Stoner, had told reporters that she was almost positive that something is wrong, and Mackenzie's friend Ashley Fine said, "Things aren't adding up. We think she's in danger." On June 24th, the University of Utah released the following statement. The University of Utah is deeply concerned about the well-being of Mackenzie Lueck and her family. The university is cooperating with the Salt Lake City Police Department, which is investigating her disappearance. Mackenzie is enrolled part-time as a senior at the U and is majoring in kinesiology and pre-nursing and minoring in health. She has been enrolled at the U since fall 2014. Because of privacy laws that protect Mackenzie's personal information, the university cannot provide further details. The university's Dean of Students has spoken with Mackenzie's family to offer support and to express the campus community's shared hope for her safe return. The Dean's office is also talking with and providing support to Mackenzie's classmates. Anyone with information about this case is encouraged to call the Salt Lake City Police Department. On June 25th, the Salt Lake City Police Department contacted the FBI for help with the case. Mackenzie Speth Lueck was born on March 8, 1996, and raised in the city of El Segundo in Los Angeles County, California. She has one older brother and two younger brothers. She attended El Segundo High School, where she was on the swimming team and played water polo. Mackenzie worked at a Salt Lake City biological testing company and planned to have a career in health sciences. She had spoken to advisors about going to nursing or medical school. Friends called her Kenzie and said she had a very friendly and outgoing personality. When she lived in California, Mackenzie would ride her bike to the Pacific Ocean's Manhattan Beach in Southern California with her friend Barbie. The two friends started a club at school dedicated to breast cancer awareness. Mackenzie went on to be an advocate for women and was known to be somewhat of a feminist. As a student at the University of Utah, Mackenzie was a member of the Alpha Chi Omega sorority and spent a lot of time on sorority activities. Her Alpha Chi Omega chapter mandates that members maintain a 2.5 grade point average and requires them to attend a certain number of social events as well as participate in philanthropic endeavors. The chapter's charity work focuses on domestic violence awareness and prevention. Mackenzie attended University of Utah Utes football games with her sorority sisters, where they would watch from the very active student section. During their missing persons investigation, detectives found that Mackenzie and a man named Ayula Ayahi had exchanged several text messages in the early morning of June 17th, and Mackenzie's last text was to him at 2:58 a.m. Cell phone data analyzed by the FBI placed both Mackenzie and Ayahi in Hatch Park at 2:59 a.m. Mackenzie, who told her Lyft driver that she was meeting a friend, was dropped off at Hatch Park around 3 a.m. Her cell phone was turned off shortly after she was dropped off. As part of their investigation, detectives learned that the cameras in Hatch Park were not working the morning when Mackenzie was dropped off by the Lyft driver. When police interviewed the driver on June 21st, he said Lueck was met by a woman who helped her put her luggage into a man's car. Police learned that Ayahi and Mackenzie met on a dating website in 2018 and agreed to meet up once she returned from California to Utah. On June 24th, police made contact with Ayahi for the first time. He admitted to sending a text to a woman named Mackenzie on seeking arrangements and sent her a picture of himself, but he claimed she never responded after that, so he assumed she was not interested. That same evening, Ayahi voluntarily went to the police station to answer more questions and was there for over 7 hours. Detectives told him that they had found numerous texts to Lueck's number that went through his IP address on his computer, and not just the one short string of messages that he shared with them. Ayahi said there was no way this was accurate and denied ever meeting Mackenzie in person. On June 26, the FBI confirmed that both Lueck's and Ayahi's cell phones placed them in the area of Hatch Park at the same time on June 17th. It was at that point that police drafted multiple warrants to search Ayahi's property at 547 North, 10th West, as well as his car and his cell phone. As the warrants were being drafted and signed by a judge, police went to Ayahi's residence to secure the property. Once the multiple search warrants were signed, Salt Lake City Crime Scene Department began executing their searches. The search ended up being an all-night effort. Dozens of pieces of evidence were seized from inside the home, the detached garage, the backyard, and Ayahi's vehicle. A pitchfork, shovel, and an automatic weapon were amongst the evidence found. Multiple cell phones were located throughout the home, as well as various cleaning supplies. On June 28, 2019, Ayula Ayahi was arrested and booked into the Salt Lake County Jail. He was then charged with the kidnapping and aggravated murder of Mackenzie. Ayahi was born in Nigeria. The loser spent 6 months in the Utah Army National Guard but did not attend basic training. He attended Utah State University on 3 separate occasions but did not graduate. He had authored a murder novel in 2018, which was briefly sold on Amazon before it was removed following the news of his arrest. Police learned that Ayahi was familiar with Hatch Park as he had previously lived in a nearby apartment complex. After his arrest, Ayahi claimed he buried Mackenzie's body and some of her belongings in his backyard. A freshly dug site was found behind his garage. During the excavation of the site, police found a human bone, charred muscular tissue, part of a scalp with hair, a cell phone, and other charred personal items. Personal items recovered included a Coach handbag that resembled the one Mackenzie was wearing in the airport surveillance videos. Also found in the handbag was Mackenzie's driver's license, which was still readable and her photo recognizable. Ayahi's neighbor told police that around the time of Mackenzie's disappearance, he saw a fire pit in Ayahi's yard and that he witnessed him pour gasoline on it. The neighbor also reported a horrible smell coming from Ayahi's yard while there was a fire burning. A gasoline can was found in the trunk of his car during the search. During television coverage of Mackenzie Lueck's case, a contractor came forward with information that he had been contacted by Ayahi a few months earlier and asked to provide a bid for some work in the basement of Ayahi's home. The contractor reported that Ayahi had asked the contractor to build a soundproof room in the basement and that he was willing to pay whatever the cost. The contractor did not take the job. It has been surmised by many familiar with the case that Ayahi was likely on the path to becoming a serial killer. Upon receiving information that Ayahi had thrown some of Mackenzie's belongings in the Jordan River, they began searching in and around the river. Utah's Jordan River is over 51 miles long and flows from Utah Lake in Utah County through the Salt Lake Valley and into the Great Salt Lake. Once evidence was discovered around and in the river, the area was roped off and had a notable police presence. Most of the items recovered were clothing items, and a lot of them. Mackenzie picked up a decent-sized suitcase from the Salt Lake City airport baggage claim, as seen in the surveillance video. Perhaps the clothing found along the trail and in the river was, in part, from her suitcase, not just on her person. Police drivers recovered the evidence found in the river. Clothing items found included, in part, a pair of white women's shorts with multiple colored small stars on them, a brown bra, a torn or cut blue camisole tank top, and a pair of women's jeans. An emotional vigil was held in Mackenzie's honor on July 1st. The community vigil was organized by the Associated Students of the University of Utah and was held on the university's Union lawn. Words cannot begin to describe the amount of sadness and pain we're all feeling, Mackenzie's friend Ashley Fine said during her speech. Everyone that knew Mackenzie loved her, and she is so greatly missed. Fine went on to say that while Mackenzie's story is tragic, it is also a story of friendship and the strong bonds of women. This person took away our friend, but he will not take away our strength. We will continue to advocate for victims of violence in our community and will continue to use Mackenzie's voice for good. Ashley's best friend Kennedy Stoner and Ashley Fine comforted each other during the emotional vigil. During Kennedy's speech, she said of Mackenzie, "She had a way of making you feel special. She loved helping people and always had a smile on her face. She always knew how to make you feel loved, and she always knew the right words to say," Kennedy said. The vigil was attended by nearly 200 friends, family, students, community members, and even a close friend from Mackenzie's hometown of El Segundo, California. They reminisced about how she would raid their fridges for snacks, her love of streetcar tacos, and road trips to Lake Powell. As part of their investigation, police learned that after they first went to Ayahi's house to ask him questions about Mackenzie's disappearance, he dug up her remains and took them approximately 80 miles north of Salt Lake City to the very scenic and beautiful Logan Canyon. Evidence concluded that his cell phone was near the canyon on June 25th. Mackenzie's remains were discovered on July 3rd while police were looking for her in a recently disturbed area of ground just off the main road of Logan Canyon. Her arms were bound behind her back by a zip tie and rope. Mackenzie's cause of death was later determined to be blunt force trauma to the head. Mackenzie will be remembered and loved by all who knew her. Her mother called her beautiful, brown-eyed, blonde young daughter a spitfire. Friends said that Mackenzie was always herself and that she had not changed throughout the years. She really loved animals and was known to throw spectacular birthday parties for her cat, even including champagne toasts. Mackenzie had hedgehogs, guinea pigs, and a cat at the time of her death. As part of his plea deal to avoid the death penalty, Ayahi agreed to provide details about Mackenzie's murder. He said that he had planned to murder her prior to picking her up. He had turned off the video of his home security system to avoid evidence of her in the home. Once he and Mackenzie were at his residence, he tied her hands behind her back with zip ties and rope and tried to choke her with his hands, even after Mackenzie told him to stop. Ayahi said he then moved her onto her stomach and strangled her with a belt until she stopped moving. On October 23rd, Ayahi was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for taking the life of Mackenzie Lueck. Lueck's mother and father also spoke during the sentencing and called Mackenzie a loving and caring daughter, friend, and sister. Lueck's father took time to remind Ayahi that he won't be able to hug his daughter anymore or tell her how proud of her he was. He thanked Utahns for all the help, support, and kind words towards his family during the past year. He also expressed that he hoped Ayahi would die a slow, painful death. Ayahi is also charged in 2 other criminal cases. In one of the cases, he is charged with 19 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor, a second-degree felony. Those charges were filed after police say they found child pornography on Ayahi's computer while searching for evidence in Mackenzie's case. On October 7, 2020, he pleaded not guilty to 19 felony counts linked to child pornography allegedly found on his computer. Investigators have said that images of children as young as 4 years old were found on his computer during the investigation into Mackenzie's murder. In the third case, he is charged with aggravated kidnapping and 3 counts of forcible sexual abuse. Those charges were filed after a woman who claimed she was assaulted by Ayahi in his house in 2018 saw news coverage on Mackenzie's case, recognized Ayahi, and contacted police. Ayahi pleaded guilty to these charges and was sentenced to 15 years in prison. The child porn case was dismissed as part of his plea deal. He is currently serving his sentences in the Utah State Prison. Mackenzie Speth Lueck was born on March 8, 1996, and her life was taken on June 17, 2019, at the very young age of 23. We sure hope at the time of this posting that her family has found some peace in her moving on and that they've been able to reconnect with her and honor her memories in multiple ways.